This is a story called The Girls of Mayfield House. Louise is a 15-year-old girl who has everything. Rich parents, a huge house and everything she could ask for. However, her parents say that they love her but they don't show it. They're not very supportive towards her. They want her to study at university and to one day take over the family business. But it's not what she wants. She wants to be a hairdresser and to one day own her own salon. Her parents are completely against this and they're adamant that she will take over the family business someday. When Louise was 11, her parents sent her to private school in the hope that she'd get a better education. Despite the fact she'd made a couple of new friends, Louise hated her private school and she wanted to go back to public school so she could be with her old friends again. Her parents tell her that she will never go back to public school and to forget about her old friends because they're not good enough for her anymore. What Louise's parents didn't know was that almost every day Louise found a way of getting away from school to meet up with all her old friends from her old public school. One day she met a boy called Mark and at first they were just good friends, but that soon turned into something more. They met on a regular basis and after about 4 months they slept together. After that they slept together almost every time they saw each other. About 6 months into their relationship, they were out getting something to eat when Louise's mum Helen came past in her car and she pulled over and told Louise to get in. Louise kissed Mark goodbye and then she got in her mum's car. Once in the car, Helen said to Louise, "Who's that boy, Louise?" "His name's Mark, Mum, and he's my boyfriend." "Your father won't be too happy when he finds out what you've been up to, young lady." When Louise's dad, Martin, came home from work, Helen told him what their daughter had been up to. Martin said to Louise, "Who is this boy, Louise, and how long have you been seeing him?" "His name's Mark Foster and we've been seeing each other for 6 months." "I hope you don't mean Mark Foster from the Foster family who are always causing trouble and getting into trouble with the police. The one whose dad has never worked a day in his life." "That's all rumours, Dad. Mark's dad hasn't worked for a long time because he's very poorly. His older brother Carl got in with the wrong crowd and got sent to jail for something he didn't do. If he didn't do what he was accused of, then he wouldn't have gone to jail. I want you to stay away from this Mark and his family. They're bad news. From now on you will concentrate on school. Then you will go to university and eventually you will take over the family business." "That's not what I want, Dad. I want to be a hairdresser and I want to own my own salon one day. I won't stop seeing Mark. We love each other and I'll see him when I want to see him." "You will do as you were told, young lady." Louise and Mark continued to see each other in secret for a further 2 months. Then Louise dropped a bombshell on Mark. "Mark, I have something to tell you. I have to tell you something. I'm 3 months pregnant." She expected Mark to be really angry, but he was over the moon. Louise decided not to tell her parents, but she got to nearly 6 months and she started to show. Her mum approached her and said, "You're pregnant, aren't you, young lady? I can tell. Wait until your dad finds out about this, young lady." When Louise's dad, Martin, came home, her mum said to him, "You'll never guess what our daughter's gone and done." "What has she done now?" "Well, tell him, young lady." "Dad, I'm pregnant and me and Mark are keeping the baby." "You will do no such thing. I'm taking you to an abortion clinic first thing tomorrow morning." "You can't, Dad, I'm too far gone." In that case, my girl, I'm sending you away, and you are not to come back here or contact me again. Your mother can speak for herself. I agree with your dad. You will be sent away tomorrow. You will never come back here or contact us again. You are no longer our daughter. The following day, they dropped Louise off at a place called Mayfield House. The staff knew they were coming and they expected Louise's parents to go in with her, but they didn't. They dropped her off and then drove off. Mayfield House was the home for pregnant girls aged between 13 and 19. As well as looking after the girls throughout their pregnancy, they let them stay after their babies were born until the girls turned 18 or 19. Mayfield House wasn't just a place that took care of pregnant girls, they also provided them with schooling. The staff were very friendly and supportive towards the girls. The girls were allowed to have visitors and to go out when they wanted. Of course, they had to be back by a certain time. The youngest girl there was Mary, who was almost 14 years old. She was there after an older boy in school raped her. He bullied her constantly, trying to get her to sleep with him, but she refused because she didn't want to, so he raped her. As a result, he was sent to jail for 8 years. After Louise had been at the home for almost 4 months, she gave birth to a beautiful little girl and called her Ada Mae Foster. After she was born, Mark was working full-time and he was saving up to put a deposit on a house for him, Louise, and the baby. Louise stayed at the home until the baby was 6 weeks old. By that time, Mark had saved enough money for a deposit on a house, and he was earning enough to be able to take care of his little family. The home gave them a grant of £3,000 to help them get started and to buy furniture and stuff. When baby Ada was 18 months old, Louisa gave birth to 2 beautiful non-identical twin girls. They called them Ivy Marie and Evie Louise. The girls were all exceptionally close from day one, and all 3 of them adored each other and their parents. Just before the twins' second birthday, Louise gave birth to another baby girl, and they called her Erin Elizabeth. When Erin was just 3 years old, Louise gave birth to triplets, all boys: Jamie Mark, George Colin, and Kane Paul. Despite having 7 kids, Louise went to university and became a fully qualified hairdresser and beautician. She tried to get in touch with her parents, but at first they didn't want to know her. Her and Mark decided to take the kids to visit her parents. When they got there, the kids were all introduced to their grandparents, and then Mark, Louise and Louise's parents all sat down and talked and sorted everything out. About 3 months later, Louise gave birth to another son, and they called him Callum Martin. When he was 18 months old, Louise gave birth to another son, and they called him Samuel Allen. Now that Louise had been working as an hairdresser and beautician for 5 years, she had enough money saved up to buy premises so that she could open her own hair and beauty salon. 2 years after Samuel was born, Louise gave birth to identical twins, Isabella Rose and Esme Helen. When they were 3 years old, Louise gave birth to another girl, and they called her Isla Ray. The family are a very close and happy family, and they see both Mark's and Louise's parents on a regular basis. The end. Thank you.